Welcome to episode number 10 of Tuesday's Upset Forecast, powered by Bookmakers Bet.
Every Tuesday, we break down sharp betting angles across football, basketball, and other sports. Core 4 picks, 5 rapid-fire predictions, all in less than 30 minutes.
Don't neglect our website, bookmakers.bet, which is the most trusted source for online bookmakers. And also don't neglect our social media, X, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You will find us there. And most importantly, make sure to follow this podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. My name is DimiCub. I have my good friend, the Super Bowl Lord BLT, Mr. Brad Thomas with me.
Yes, I am here. I am excited. I'm actually quite well rested because unlike past years, I didn't just down 45 adult waters. I only had 4, and we won money. So it was a really, really good Super Bowl.
And since I introduced you as the Lord of Super Bowl, I know that you're the most suitable man to tell us what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, so no offense to any Seattle or New England fans, but come on, y'all. Delivered the most boring first half of a Super Bowl I've ever seen. And then you could say the second half had fireworks, but there was no point where we thought the Patriots were really going to get back into it. It was a game that was won at the line of scrimmage. Seattle was able to move the ball effectively with Kenneth Walker. And on the other side, they were able to get pressure and sack Drake May. Drake May, first trip to the Super Bowl, probably first of many, did not look sharp. But that's what happens when you play an elite defense. But more than just the game, let's talk about the picks, right? The picks are what's really exciting because for anybody who checked out the article on Bookmakers, I was really adamant that Bad Bunny would have at least 2 wardrobe changes. It was minus 105 odds. And I got into it because people said he didn't have a wardrobe change. But looking at the fine print, it stated a heavy outer layer, if you change it or take it off, counts as a wardrobe change. So he put on a suit and took a suit off. 2 wardrobe changes. Yes, wham, bam, thank you, man. The next one, Kenneth Walker ran all over the Patriots. People were in my DM saying this is such a bad pick. There's no way he eclipses 60 yards. No running back has ever ran for more than 55 yards with Milton running the ball. I was right. They were wrong. Chelsea, pat on the back. Jake Bobo fell, didn't work, but Thigala picked up a nice plus 195. Novak, listen, Demetrius, it's fine when you're wrong. Why? Because I will take this. I should have never, ever bet Novak. Novak is a football buff, loves football. There's no way this man wanted to play in a golf tournament and then have to fly home or go to his hotel to watch the Super Bowl. He missed the cut. He looked like he never wanted to be there because all he was thinking about was the Super Bowl. Hand up.
I gotta say that it's fine when it's one of the rare occasions that you're wrong, you know?
Yep.
And the doubters about the Walker pick were mostly tripping. I gotta say, you taught everybody what smart betting is with your Super Bowl picks. I gotta give you that. And you raised our website's profile, of course. And I gotta thank you for that. Actually, my side of the story is that the first half was so boring that I fell asleep. We have this time difference in Greece, so it's only natural, and the game only helped. I'm not sure if the Seahawks Legion of Boom defense is better than the current version. I saw the current version live. I will go with the current version. They rocked the Patriots. It was so one-sided. And since I like introducing myself as a prop specialist, I got down to some props myself. Cardi B over 1.5 times to appear on screen. Okay, that was an easy one. But Cardi B to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Ooh.
Here we have a lot of controversy. First of all, my book of choice didn't pay it. I won't say who it is because I don't want to bring any negative publicity to that bookie, you can DM me to find out. We saw Kalshi paying it, and we saw Kalshi paying it and showing the fine line why they paid for it. An artist has to either sing, dance, or DJ. Did Cardi B sing? No, she didn't. Did she DJ? She could have, but no. But did she dance? Yes, she did. And this is
Yes.
why I will file an official claim that my bet is won. I will not take no for an answer. I will also not take no for an answer in the question, are Leeds and Nottingham Forest out of their goddamn minds? You're battling against relegation and you open the hose in such fashion? Are you crazy? No, you cannot do that. But okay, I think the road is still long. I was also crazy because I didn't choose that Milan away win. That was my initial pick for that match against Bologna. I tried to back Bologna to score once. They failed. However, in EuroLeague, we got back on track. The under was very easy in Barcelona vs Fenerbahce. And of course, Man City doubled their wins against Newcastle. And they're off to a very exciting final against Arsenal in 1 month from now. But now, we got some fresh news for you. We got episode 10 coming up. 4 full breakdowns, and then the lightning round. The Super Bowl's over, but we have a lot of Premier League in the books.
Yes,
Give it, Brad.
we do. And let's start with the first one. West Ham versus West Ham versus Manchester United. Okay, hold on. Oh, this game. I was wondering. I saw this game on the sheet, and I was wondering, why did they just go and say, hey, we have to talk about this game? But there's always a smart decision by every decision that goes on this podcast. So, DimiCub, why don't you enlighten us on what's going on in this Manchester United situation before I get into my bet and tell you what I think is going to happen?
Okay, what I can say is that tonight we have the most viral football match of the last 10 years. It is the decider of whether the United Strand will cut his hair or not. If Man United wins, the guy that has preserved an afro for the past 500 days is cutting his hair. If not, well, welcome to the jungle. He goes to zero again.
That said, I think it's right for me just to say, do I think United will win, right? Like, that's before I get into my bet. And short answer, yes. I think they're going to win. West Ham is a team that is really fickle, right? You know, they went through a period of time where they were just losing a ton, but they've won 3 of their last 4. And if you want to discredit them and saying, well, they played Tottenham, who've struggled. They played against Sunderland, and Sunderland, we know, are a vastly different team away from home than they are at home. And they played against the lifeless body of Burnley. Yeah, they lost to Chelsea, but anybody who actually watched that match, no way Chelsea should have won that match. West Ham dominated, took the soul out of their body in that first half. But what Carrick's done with this United team has been nothing short of amazing. It's never was it like United don't have the players. Never was it United don't have the quality. And honestly, if you're an advanced analytics guy, never were there games that United lost that never were there games that they lost that they shouldn't have won. There were a lot of games early in the season that they lost or drew that they probably should have won. The problem with them was they were underachieving their XG, and Ruben Amorim was so stubborn he would not change his system to fit the players that he had. Carrick comes in here, changes the system, makes it work, but also this team is executing. I think they're going to win, right? They've scored at least 2 goals in all 4 of their last, all 5 of their last 5 games, right? Won 4 in a row. My only issue, and this kind of leads to my bet, is I'm not sure I'm ready to fully trust them yet. Last week I bet their team total in a parlay, and it hit, right? I should have just taken spread, but no, hindsight's always 2020. This week I could be wrong again, but I'm taking Manchester United versus West Ham or West Ham versus Manchester United, both teams to score and over 2.5. One thing that's been a common trend in their matches outside of against Tottenham and City, in these last 5, both teams to score and over 2.5 is hit. They conceded twice against Burnley, twice against Arsenal, and twice against Fulham, cashing those tickets. So for me, while it's really easy to say this team is executing at a high level offensively in the attack, there's still room for improvement defensively. And I think both teams to score and over 2.5 is going to hit, especially against the West Ham side, who have scored in 5 straight. They've scored at least 2 goals in 4 straight. I like both teams to score and over 2.5. It's around minus 118.
Well, even though I agree with your pick, I really do. You should have told me earlier that you think that United are going to win, so that bookmakers bet could bid for the United Strand's haircut on live stream or something. Now I think it's going to a bookmaker actually, but it's okay. I will stay in the Premier League, and I will tell you first. I want to tell you what troubles me at the moment with the Premier League. It is that time of the year that it is match after match, too many consecutive matches. Teams look a bit tired at the moment. I watched some games during the weekend, and from the last 2 or 3 match days, I have realized that teams cannot be consistent. What do I mean? We had Aston Villa. We had Aston Villa with 10 consecutive wins before Christmas. They lost to Arsenal. It's okay. That's, something that is natural. They won their next match, and after that, it looks like they're going to lose every match. I mean, they did against Bournemouth and they did against Brentford. This is something that I will try to take advantage in their match against Brighton. I'm not saying that they're not going to win against Brighton. I'm saying that they seem they cannot produce the way they should. Aston Villa haven't scored in any of their last 2 games. The losses that I talked about before. Their offense was terrible against Bournemouth. They created like 0 big chances with 0.44x goals for, and they completely lost possession to a very motivated Bournemouth team. They couldn't score against a Brentford team that were 1 man down for 45 minutes, and they conceded the goal in the process and lost. And in the 3 games before those 2 games, they won against Newcastle, okay, they drawn in Crystal Palace, lost against Everton. But the common factor here is that they created very few big chances and almost 1.40 xG4 per game, which is very low for a side that has the quality of Villa. Brighton are the most inconsistent team in the Premier League. They are, when you have the word inconsistency in your dictionaries, there goes Brighton right next to it. The heavy metal fluid football is past. It's gone. I watched them yesterday against Crystal Palace. I don't know. I think that Fabian Hordzeler, excuse me for if I pronounced him wrong, is going to be removed in one of the next match days. He has nothing else to offer to that club. they produce less than 1.5x goals for in all of their last 5 games, which is terrible. And it's nothing like we have used Brighton. The pick here is pretty easy. I'm gonna go with the numbers. We have less than
Okay.
3 goals in all of Villa's last 5. We have less than 3 goals in 5 of Brighton's last 6. As I said, Villa might win. They are favored for a reason, but the clear value is on under 2.5 with average odds of 2.05.
Okay. Listen, makes a ton of sense. Villa were exceeding their XG. Now it's caught up to them. Brighton, I've talked about this to nauseum. If anybody watches any of my shows, their lack of finishing ability, their lack of real goal threat prowess in terms of a person you could turn to who could put one in the back of the net is lackluster. So I like your under. I actually am going to take Villa money line, but I like your under. Let's go to a next pick. My next Premier League pick, Manchester City versus Fulham. Antoine Semenyo over 2.5 shots, minus 124. So you might say, hey, Brad, why are you taking this? Semenyo hasn't really hit this since he's been with City, right? He's hit this twice, one against Wolves, one against Liverpool. The other matches hasn't really hit it. There's a couple things that are come in play here. Number one, Semenyo is made a statement, but more than just making a statement, it's shown and it's proven by the numbers that Semenyo is their full-time right or left winger. He's flexible on both, but they are playing him for 90 minutes. That was one thing I wanted to see. It was they have an abundance of attacking talent. Marmoush, Cherokee, Foden, Semenyo. Who's going to play out there full-time? Doku. I didn't even mention Doku. Looks like Semenyo, this is his. He is a firm member of the starting 11. Next thing, I wanted to see the problem with Semenyo at times when he played at Bournemouth where he would be too far out wide and they would ask him to create from those positions. With City don't mind playing central and saying, Semenyo, you can run and you can cut in, which allows him to get on the end of shots. Those counts as shots, but also allows him to dip his shoulder when he has the ball since he's not super wide to dip his shoulder and get shots off. He did hit last game. He played 89 minutes, had 3 shots against Liverpool. They're playing against Fulham at home this weekend. And, you know, if you want to talk about, is this going to be a high shot yielding game? I don't think it's going to be insane, right? Like this is a Fulham side that are allowing about 12 shots per 90, which is a little bit better than half the pack. But we have to factor in the fact that Fulham are going to concede about 60% of the possession. And what City have done against teams like that is they've ripped shots from outside the box. They found it more difficult to get the ball in the service into Erling Haaland. And to couple that, to marriage that together, Erling Haaland, Fulham have a lot of size in the back line, which means there's not going to be a ton of crosses available for Haaland, leading to opportunities for Semenyo to shoot. So I like him over 2.5 shots.
I think this is the case here. This is a case of Pep Guardiola liking shiny new toys.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's got the new guy. He believes in the new guy, of course. Pep never acquires any players without believing in them. So he has to use him everywhere. That's what he did with Marmoush last year when he came from Frankfurt mid-season.
Yep.
This is what he does with Semenyo now. So I totally understand your logic behind that. And this is, of course, one pick that I'm going to back in here. I also eyed that match for Wincast, City and Haaland, because I think Haaland is back at it again. What I'm not going to do is waste any time on commenting the match, yesterday's match, Liverpool vs Man City. So let's move on to pick number 4. because it hurts. We are going to Spain, and we are going to a beautiful barrio of Madrid when we have somewhat of a local derby. Actually, both teams have Real Madrid as a common enemy. I'm talking about Rayo Vallecano and Atletico Madrid, which also, at first look, looks like an Atletico Madrid win. Their head-to-head record is astonishing. You have Atletico Madrid winning 9 of their last 11 encounters. This is not enough for me because the narrative has changed here. We have a struggling Rayo with 3 straight losses lying at 18th position of the standings. And I got to remind you that 18th position gets you relegated to La Liga 2 or DOS or whatever. They have conceded 3 goals in 2 of these 3 losses. They conceded 3 against Celta. They conceded 3 against Osasuna. In matches that their opponents produced less than 2 X goals for. So it wasn't a matter of bad defending here. It was just a matter of opponents' efficiency. And we saw Rayo Vallecano putting a very brave display against Real Madrid. You remember how they lost? They lost with a penalty in stoppage time. They managed to keep Real Madrid away from the final third of the pitch, away from their box actually, because they were camping in the final third of their pitch. But Real Madrid didn't produce any volume of big chance, and they're playing against an Atletico squad that is pretty inconsistent away from home. They have drawn 5 of their 11 games there. They have won 3, they have lost 3, so you see, they tend to draw more than win away from home. And they're going up against an Atletico Madrid squad whose league campaign is at a dead end at the moment. They cannot finish over third position. They cannot finish below third position. They are eternally doomed to finishing third in La Liga, as they do every year, which is okay. I mean, when you have to fight against giants like Real and Barcelona, it's totally okay. The main factor that comes into play here is the many consecutive games they have given. They have a very important game against Barcelona on Thursday for Copa del Rey, which seems to be their only realistic target to get a title this year. I think they will be out of energy after that match.
Yep.
And this is why I think that this match seems like a possible draw. After all, we have Rayo, who has drawn 6 in their 10 home games. But I'm not bold enough at the moment to go with a draw. So I'm going with the next obvious pick, which is under 2.5 goals. 1.83 average odds. You can, of course, shop around Bookmaker's Bet and find the trusted source to get the best price out of.
I'm out on Atletico Madrid. I'm out on betting their games. I bet them in the Champions League. They did not prevail.
That's wise. That's wise.
I bet them over the weekend against Betis. They did not prevail.
That was not wise.
All I needed were goals. Needed some goals. That attack is dried up. But I guess in your case, it's all good, right? Because you don't want goals.
So the less they score, the more we get paid.
Yep. But you know what? It's time for the quick hitters. 5 picks, 1-liners, in and out. It is the lightning round. And I will start Bologna versus Lazio. 2 bad teams. What does that happen? What does that mean? Anytime you have 2 bad teams playing against each other, you take the one who's double chance. I don't trust Bologna to get a win against anybody. Lazio double chance for me, minus 130.
I'm going to France. Ligue 1. You're not the only one that's going to win a pick there. We have a typical mid-table battle. Lorient against Angers. And I'm taking Lorient to win at average odds of 1.95. So we got both teams peaking to continental football. No team's gonna achieve it. Spoiler. Lorient, though, are good at home as of late. They have 3 wins and 1 draw in their last 4. They are a top 5 home offense with 20 goals, which is exciting. And Angers have only scored 6 goals away from home, carrying a negative record.
I'm going to Serie A. Como's versus Fiorentina. Man, I really hope Fiorentina plays some better footy because I have a trip to Florence next season. I don't want to watch them in Serie B, but I don't care because I think Como are not only going to prevail, I think they're going to score twice. Team total over 1.5 goals, minus 128. Fiorentina have been a leak machine. They have conceded about 1.58 goals per contest. And this team of Como has gone through some mild rough patch. Why not have a chance to play against a relegated team or a soon to be relegated team and put up some goals? Cess loves beautiful football, and I think that is what we're going to see.
Mm-hmm. Time to go back to my favorite EuroLeague, and I'm taking Fener, get an away win against Panathinaikos, 2.02 average odds. They're still, of course, the best defense in the league. They have 6 straight wins. They're top of the table with ease. And Panathinaikos will probably miss the X Factor Kendrick Nunn for yet another game. They got humiliated against plucky Partizan squad. They look tired. They're out of fresh ideas. I'm taking the Turks to prevail.
I'm going to the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Golf, baby. Ryan Gerard, top 20, plus 220. Beautiful number. Second at Sony, T2 at Amex, and Farmers T11. The dude is going to win soon. And until they put some respect on his name, I'm going to keep betting him.
Now that the lightning round is over, we have the 4 full picks in here. Both teams to score plus over 2.5 goals and possibly a United Strand haircut in West Ham vs Man United. Under 2.5 goals in Villa vs Brighton. Semenyo over 2.5 shots and under 2.5 in Rayo vs Atletico. Plus the 5.
As in every week, we will track everything. You know us by now. We track the wins, the losses, the heartbreakers. I'm sorry, Cardi B. All of it.
Oh my God, Cardi B. Cardi B, this show was made for you. I mean, not only for you, but for all of our audience. And we want you to spread the word. Yeah, especially you, Cardi B. And after that, hit the comment section. You can hit us on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. You can go in bookmakers.bet and find our verified sportsbooks. All links are in the episode description.
And remember, to bet a winner, you got to feel a winner. And to feel a winner, you got to be a winner.
Never forget to bet responsibly.